Hello YouTubers, today's video is about my 68 Cutlass hood. I had to take this hood off to do some other work on the car. I wanted to work on this hood anyways. It's been the last piece to get done. So today let's review what's wrong with the hood and the steps that we're going to do to set it right. So let me turn the camera around and show you what it looks like. Alright, so here is the top side of the fender. There's not much wrong with it as far as body work goes. There is one part, and it's been like this the entire time I've owned this car, which is probably 25 years. This crack has always been here, and I've always assumed that it was in a front-end collision because of a couple of things. A, because some of the nose piece on the car were hit and there are some scratches on the bumper. B, this Cutlass S emblem that was supposed to be here is missing. And C, once again, there was a Oldsmobile script here for the Cutlasses that is missing. So I am assuming that, you know, whatever happened up here caused maybe some of these emblems to break, and they just took them off the car so that they could better see, complete their body work, because 20 some years ago they weren't making reproductions that I remember. So yeah, and I'm not really sure when it happened. That's about how long ago it was when I bought it, but how long ago that accident was, I don't know. The paint is in pretty decent shape, except there are areas that are not great, and I'm hoping that they show up on camera. Like here, you'll see up here that the paint is wearing through. There's some other sections on here that the paint just doesn't look very good. Some of this, like these scratches right here, this was probably done when I had this hood laying up against the house for a while, but now, you know, but this has been here, this has been here, you know. There's some other unfavorable looking areas on this hood. The only thing that you've missed is me taking off some of these trim pieces. I took them off the car already, but outside of that, you haven't missed anything that's been going on with this hood. So the plan is to start from the, well, I have the new chrome pieces, and I'll bring them back and I'll show you, you know, what they look like, and then we'll talk about how we're going to proceed. All right, so these are the missing emblems that I was talking about. This is the hood script that goes on somewhere about right here. There's another piece of chrome that goes underneath here in the inside. So you got to get that just about touching that piece of chrome there. So the holes are missing. So somebody has come in, and I looked on the back of this and I don't see any evidence of Bondo right here. There is Bondo over here, but no evidence of it here. So I'm going to assume that they welded these holes closed, but I want that back on. So I got that one, and then they did a similar thing over here where the Oldsmobile script that should have been approximately right there has been eliminated by them welding closed these holes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead, figure out the exact location for those hood emblems, and then drill the holes, line it up for the holes, and then start working on the back of it, which doesn't require a lot of work, but you know, I need to address some little rust issues back there, and then probably put it into primer, and then flip it around and just finish up whatever I need to do. I'm probably going to put this in primer just because as you look at this hood, there are a few sections here where the paint is not so great. So I want to make sure that this paint that's coming up here, and I'm talking about right here, you might be able to see the bubbles. I don't know how well they're coming in, but there is a little bit of bubbling and a little bit of texturing of the paint right there. And to effectively take care of that, I'm going to sand it, try to get it as smooth as possible, and then I'm going to prime it. So basically the same things I had to do on other panels. So that's an overview of what we've got to do, and so I will get started on it. Hold on.
Okay, so the first thing that we have to do here is to remove this inner latch. The reason that this inner latch has to be removed, there is two circles that are being blocked, and those circles are where the Cutlass S script's going to go. So we have to get this out of the way so that I can get the drill in there and drill the holes out. So we'll get this latch removed, and I will show you the holes that where the latch needs to be drilled for. All right, now that the latch is out of there, here's the two holes that we have to that I have to get these emblems to go through. I'm going to try to center the drill cuts to be in the center of these holes, but I need to know how wide this emblem is. So you're seeing me take the caliper, and I'm going to measure from the center of each pin. So I want the calipers to open so that the edges are right on the center of the pin. So I'm going to get center to center, and then I will tighten this up so it holds that position. And then I'm going to transfer this over to the car to get the right position in those two cutout holes that you see on the inner fender there. And then I'm going to take that bottle of paint right there. It's fingernail polish from my wife, and I'm going to mark where the caliper openings are. Now, it's important to note that when you do this, you're now not marking the center of the hole of where the drill bit's got to go. So the edge, I'm going to paint right to the edge of the caliper, which means that the center of the hole, that'll be the outside of the hole, not the center of the hole. So those two white dots that you're seeing me paint there are going to be the outside of the hole. So when you set the drill bit down on top of next to those white marks there, you just want to remember that that is the outside. So you want to, so your drill is going to be drilling to the outside of that white mark. You don't want to start drilling in the middle of that white mark. So I didn't get that one lined up the way that I want, so I wiped the paint away, and I'm going to put another mark. So line the caliper up, make sure nothing's moved, center of the, it's almost like doing 2x4s, get the center of the 2x4 to center of the 2x4. So the center of the pin to center of the pin, line the caliper up correctly, paint the other dot, and when you're going to lay the drill in here, you'll see exactly how I'm going to drill this. Now I'm going to do the drilling in two different steps. I'm going to start with a smaller drill bit and then work my way to the larger drill bit. So let's get started. All right, now the first hole in the top there has been drilled. I'm going to go ahead and double check with the calipers to make sure that I'm lining these holes up correctly. So the top holes there is drilled. I'm putting that caliper so that the center of the hole is in the edge of the caliper there, and checking, double checking where it is lining up so I know exactly where I want that second drilling point to be. So now I got it in my head where it needs to be. I'm drilling that hole through there now. I was amazed by how quickly that happened. So, I mean, Really, it only takes about 5 seconds for that drill to get through there. Now that is a smaller bit. Now I'm going to take the emblem and I'm going to line up and see if I can get both pins through both holes. And you're going to see that it may be a little hard to see, but you're going to see both pins protrude one through one hole first, the top hole, and then there goes the second one down the bottom. So they're going through. That tells me I'm lining everything up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and step it up to the next size drill bit, which we'll see here in a second. All right, so now I am ready to drill with the final size here, which is a 7/32 drill bit. I started out with a 9/64, and now I'm drilling up to 7/32. So you're seeing that it doesn't take much to get through there. Of course, this hood material's, 50-year-old metal, so it's not quite as strong as brand new metal would be. But now I'm going to take the emblem and do the final fitting here, and hopefully everything goes all right. So you're seeing the one pin through the bottom there. Now they both come up and it's sitting flush on the hood. So I'm in good shape. I'm really happy with the fit here. So it's time to move over to the Oldsmobile script and get that lined up, and that'll be a very similar setup. So let's take a look at it. Well, I thought I had the footage of that, but it turns out I didn't. So um, really the operation was the same. It was a little more complicated with the other emblem, only because there was three pins to put in instead of two. When you drill from the outside coming to the from the inside coming to the outside, you're pushing that drill bit through, and it gives a little bit of debris on the outside of the hood here. So what I'm doing here is taking a flap disc with I think there's probably a 40 grit sandpaper on there, and smoothing off those little edges of jagged metal that come out when you drill it that way. I'm coming back in and double checking the fit of the emblems, making sure that everything is lying flush against the hood before I progress to the next step. So what I'm demonstrating here is that emblem, those pins don't sit exactly in the middle. One side of the emblem, the pin has a shorter amount, which goes down to the bottom of the hood, and the larger amount that sticks up higher continues up the hood. So if you try to put it on the wrong way, all that's going to happen is that it's the metal part is actually going to come off the edge of the hood. So the short end towards the bottom of the hood and the longer end towards the top of the hood goes on there just like that. And basically that's all there is to it. There's the 3 holes that I drilled. It was the same procedure like I said before. Pretty easy operation, a little nerve-wracking. Anytime you got to drill 5 holes into your hood, you're going to be a little nervous. So, but overall, a pretty successful experience. Now I'm going to be moving on to the next step, which is sanding this hood down and getting it ready for paint and primer. So we'll see you in the next video. If you'd like this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how, if you've had to do this procedure, what you've done any differently than I had to do this operation. So I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you in the next video.